Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Alright, we're 2 issues done, and that's the same amount of pages Wonder Woman has appeared. In the last episode, I briefly talked about tie-in comics, so let's talk about them a little bit more. Tie-in comics are also meant to boost sales of that comic, the operating theory being that people will buy anything with the event's logo slapped on it, hoping to get more of the story. Since, as we saw with Amazon's attack, important plot details have been stuck in comics outside the story itself! Sadly, this theory does work, but the real hope is that after the tie-ins, readers will stay with the book even after the event is over. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And with Amazon's attack, it didn't. In fact, for the issues of Teen Titans that tied in, the book was actually beginning to gain readers again. But a few thousand people actually dropped the book when the tie-ins occurred. Now, Wonder Woman was essential reading for this whole mess, and the issues really should have been included in the hardcover release. Hell, there were actually 7 issues labeled as tie-ins to it! That's more issues than the main comic! And the numbers just declined and declined as it went on. The same thing happened to Supergirl and Catwoman when they had tie-ins. Numbers dropped, and in Catwoman's case, they went back up again when Amazon's attack was over. So, needless to say, the comic reading public wasn't exactly happy about the book itself. And since I'm still recapping and reviewing it for you all, I'm not happy either. Suicide gun at the ready, so let's dig into Amazon's attack number 3 and number 4. And since we're switching to a new issue, of course there's a page dedicated to explaining the tie-in material. The first 2 paragraphs can be outright skipped. Nothing is written there that we don't see for ourselves in the book. The only important information that we get out of this is that Diana once again confronts Hippolyta. Seriously, someone who actually read those issues want to tell me if she used the lasso on her? At all? And the Amazons have released a deadly new weapon on mankind. A swarm of Stygian killer hornets that, although we've never seen them before, are apparently native to Themyscira. Don't ask me, people. They're seriously making this stuff up as they go along. To make matters worse, one of these never-before-seen killer bugs has stung Nemesis! Oh my god. Oh my god, he's been stung by a giant killer bee with a poisonous stinger on an island with mystical energy and magics and the power of the gods behind it! He could only have minutes to live, or seconds! And is now mere hours from death. What, hours? Hours? I know most insect stings are only fatal if the person's allergic, but come on! Where's the tension? Where's the drama in a deadly sting that kills in hours? And these are supposed to be magic hornets, for crying out loud! Geez, the only thing in this book that isn't half-assed is the artwork, and isn't that great. Okay, our opening is another recap page done with Lex News. It was only days ago, but it feels like a lifetime. You're telling me. Soon the streets ran red with American blood. Tourists, lawmakers, men, women, and children. Grandparents, street sweepers, hookers, pet store owners. I can do this all day, people. Police officers, soda machine repairmen. Now our nation's capital is in ruins, and our once proud government lies shattered. But it was mostly the Green Party, so nobody cared. What? Superman arrives in Kansas and easily puts out the flames since, you know, he's Superman. After flying off, the Kansas residents switch on a TV and the news continues to blare on about how horrible things have gotten. Reports coming in from all over of a nation tearing itself apart. Traffic pouring out of Manhattan at a standstill. Wait, never mind, that's normal for Manhattan. All flights canceled nationwide. Riots at O'Hare, LA, SeaTac. See, that has nothing to do with the Amazons. There were just a couple of flight delays. And every hour, new reports of murders, suicides, and assaults. You know, there's no indication in the comic that this event has been going on for days or whatever. Basically what they're saying is that within 1 day of a large group of women with primitive weaponry attacking Washington, D.C., the entire country is falling apart. Damn you, 19th Amendment! A live feed comes in from her royal craziness Hippolyta, where she calls on America for unconditional surrender and that the country has 1 day to decide. Artemis and Philippus, being their usual completely helpful selves, point out just how freaking insane the demand is, but of course, take no action. So, while Hippolyta kills the cameraman, they just hang off to the back and hold their arms all sad and sullen-like, not knowing what to do. Say, here's an idea. Stab your crazy queen through her head, assume command, and act like Amazons instead of pretending this is some huge moral dilemma! Meanwhile, aboard Air Force One, the president wants to land the plane, but his aide tells him that right now up in the air is the only place where he's safe, alive, and in control. And he can't be in control from a bunker because... Now I've got some tough decisions to make, don't I? Well, here's the first. I'm implementing the Linkara Act. What? A relic of the Cold War. Allows arrest of suspicious individuals. Provides for deportation, imprisonment, camps. It was created back in 1950 to fight the communist menace that was supposedly poised at our doorstep. I'd say things are considerably more dire now. It'll be controversial to say the least. I don't care! The country is ripping itself to pieces! The people need to know that they're safe, secure. They need to know that someone strong and capable is looking out for them. Implement the order, now! There's no other way to save the country! Stop it! Stop right there! I need a minute. I'm just gonna put my face in a pillow and try not to smother myself, tempted as I may be. And yet somehow this is still more entertaining than the comic itself. I can't believe they actually thought this was a good idea. They took a simple, if entirely stupid, invasion story and made it into some diatribe against the Bush administration and the war on terror. It boggles the mind that no one, writers, artists, or editors along the way, stopped for a moment, turned to the others and asked, "Are we sure this is a good idea?" And it only gets worse, people. Just wait. At the Korean War Memorial, Batman is fighting some Amazons and, for some reason, these ones haven't decapitated all the statues or blown them up. Why these ones when they've basically annihilated every other structure? If I even need to answer that, you haven't been paying attention so far. Superman arrives and knocks out the remaining Amazons. Batman, acting way out of character. Someone acting out of character in Amazon's attack? What a shocking development! Tell Superman that it's war and basically it's okay to kill your enemy, even though one panel later he says he still won't kill. I just don't... Okay, now that my faculties are a little bit better, the two discuss how the tactics of the Amazons are unusual to say the least. But enough of that scene, let's switch over to the Athenian Women's Shelter just outside of Washington, D.C. The Justice Department suddenly arrives to arrest all the women there because, again, this is supposed to be some subtle critique on the war on terror. For the love of Heidegger, it'd be more subtle if you danced naked in front of the White House with "I hate Bush" written all over your body! And by the way, the newscaster here says that arrests like that happened overnight, so apparently this is happening over a period of time. So what? How long has it been since the initial attack? How long has the president been in the air? Days? Weeks? If Nemesis was really poisoned, he'd probably be dead by now. Space is warped, time is bendable, up is down, left is right, and this comic is up there with Watchmen and Sandman! Okay, we switch back to Batman for another pointless scene. Nemesis, with all your government contacts, I wonder if you knew this was coming. Yes, I'm sure the unconscious dying man knew all about the thing that happened either a week ago or just 2 minutes ago, depending on your view of the space-time continuum. Of course, I've got bigger problems now. An Amazon attack. A deadly bee weapon. Bees. My God. Can someone please tell me what emotion Batman is expressing with that line? Confusion? Irony? Sadness? Anger? Acceptance? Disgust? Surprise? Anticipation? Contempt? Awe? Disappointment? Shame? Sympathy? Rage? Oh wait, that's me. Agony? Frustration? Apathy? It's apathy, isn't it? Okay, you don't care, Batman, so we don't either. Wow, man. Bees. My God. He worries about the fact that the only antidote to the deadly bee poison, bees, my God, is in Themyscira. Wonder Woman then suddenly arrives once more. For those keeping score, we're now 70 pages in and she's appeared in 3 pages now. Insane in the Membrane, aka Hippolyta, muses to herself about how her former allies are rallying against her, yet her army remains fiercely loyal. However, like pretty much every other scene, this one comes to an abrupt end as Wonder Girl and Supergirl arrive to talk to her. Back with Wonder Woman, wow, 2 scenes with her in a single issue! She says that the antidote for the poison is back in Themyscira, but she can't go to retrieve it since she's learned that the only way to end the war is to slay Hippolyta, implying that she's going to go fly off and do so now. You know, I finally come to realize the core problem with this comic. It's not the disregard for continuity, it's not the sexism or the brutal violence or the piss-poor attempts at being relevant. It's that this whole thing is a collection of random, pointless scenes that go nowhere and contribute nothing to the plot. Characters arrive and leave as they please, plot points are introduced and then quickly forgotten. So, back to the M.C. Escher painting that is this plot. Oracle tells Batman that a new Amazon attack has occurred, this time at a nuclear plant just outside of Star City. They tell Green Arrow to take care of it since that's his home turf. So, how the heck are the Amazons moving around the country so quickly? Was my guess about explosive teleportation from the last review actually correct? Okay, cut to another pointless scene of Artemis and Philippus. Blah, 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 this is not Sparta, blah, 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 we need to kill the queen. Yeah, put your money where your mouth is. And cut away again. Over to Grace Choi, a member of the superhero team Outsiders. I'm sick of fighting you, like they want me to, all planned and mapped out. Wait, does Grace actually realize she's in a crappy comic? We get an ominous foreshadowing as someone with paint all over their face looks at video monitors of Grace and says that she's the one they seek. Back to Green Arrow, where he reports finding an unexploded bomb next to the reactor. Through technobabble, we learn that the thing malfunctioned before it could detonate. Green Arrow is amazed that the Amazons could build such an advanced bomb. Batman replies, they can't. Swords, shields, and magic? Amazons. Microchips, computers, and high-tech weapons? Someone else. So let me see if I get this straight. The initial reason that Hippolyta declared war on America was because Wonder Woman had been kidnapped by the US government so she could reveal the secrets behind the advanced technology of the Amazons, which apparently they are not capable of producing! Just to be clear, this isn't like Superman at Earth's End. There was an editor for this thing! Back on board Air Force One, the president continues to be cranky about the plane not landing. Oh, and it's night all of a sudden, too. His aide lists off all the problems they're having. DC is in ruins! Well, after this comic, it certainly is. Kansas is a cinder! Nuke plants are exploding! Military bases are burning! And your approval ratings have actually gone into negative numbers, which no one even thought was possible! And the so-called heroes are out of control! What about Metahuman Affairs? Aren't they coordinating the defense? Not anymore. The actual chief was replaced by a shapeshifter. Then the acting chief was almost killed by some Amazon superweapon. A deadly bee weapon. Bees. My God. The president reminds his aide that he's the president and he better shut his pie hole. The aide then says, that's right, you are. And if you'd like to actually survive to set foot on United States soil again, you'll sit down and buckle that seatbelt, sir. Well, his ass is fired. Suddenly, the plane shakes as retreated to yet another scene of utter stupidity to end issue 3. Wonder Girl and Supergirl fly right in front of Air Force One and yell at them to bring the plane down or else they will. Oh God, I need more pills! I need more pills! In between issues, Diana once again engages her mother in battle. My God, this comic is a Mobius loop! We once again switch to Lex News. Lex News, a division of Evil Corp. To its credit, this update does let us know that the war has only been going on for 3 days, but that just makes all their panic nonsense from last issue all the stupider. But then again, it is supposed to be a mainstream news station, so instilling unjust fear and panic is par for the course. It also reiterates Hippolyta's demand for a surrender in 1 day. Wait, this says 1 week. Oh, sweet Lord in heaven, this comic can't even keep its own stupid continuity straight! We're in the Twilight Zone, people. There is no other explanation for such really, really poor proofreading. Anyway, issue 4 opens to a splash page of Wonder Woman challenging her mother to kill her. Hey, Diana, see that lasso next to your hip? Hey, maybe if you tried to tie it around her hand, then this wouldn't be necessary! However, Superman suddenly decides to swoop in and pick her up, bringing her out of harm's way, much to her anger. Sure, Superman, just pick up Diana and bring her away. After all, she's just another one of them hysterical woman folk. You know their ovaries interfere with their ability to think, boy howdy. Oh, and since you're perfectly capable of picking her up, don't even worry that the leader of the attacking Amazons is still just down there, and you could have just picked her up and flown her into a jail cell. No, really, picking up Wonder Woman made perfect sense. Don't, Diana. We have more important things to worry about now. We've decided to go on strike. Maybe if we all decide not to be in the comic, it'll just go away. Back with Wonder Girl and Supergirl. Supergirl points out that they probably can't hear her demand to land the plane, and one of the jets decides to shoot a missile at them, even though they're like 2 feet away from Air Force One. Smooth, fellas. The missile hits Wonder Girl and she starts falling. "Mr. President, the escort jet reports a direct hit. That's one down." Yes! I killed a teenage girl! Why do other politicians seem to have so much trouble with it? But no, Wonder Girl's just pissed off and she flies up and smashes through the plane. She demands the president come with her so he and Hippolyta can sit down and negotiate an end to the war. And we're back to the women being either crazy or stupid. In Wonder Girl's case, it's both. The president finally agrees and we switch back to the Justice League. And hey, Wonder Woman's here too! Wow, our ratio of Wonder Woman appearances is really going up with this one. We're up to Wonder Woman on 7 pages out of 87. 8 pages if we count the Lex News report. Batman reveals that the Amazons have never left Washington, D.C., despite what Queen Hippopotamus Brain has been saying. Someone's helping their war effort. Someone who embraces modern technology instead of spears. But who needs technology when the spears have been so damn effective so far? Wonder Woman's eyes widen as she realizes it's the Bana! Who the hell are the Bana, you ask? Well, there was actually a second group of Amazons. These Amazons didn't go to Themyscira and instead ended up in Egypt, renouncing the Greek gods and instead worshipping the Egyptian pantheon. Long story short, they ended up joining up with the Themyscirans again later. Heck, Artemis herself is a Bana. Diana exposits that not all of the Bana joined Themyscira, that a militant sect went off on their own. So yeah, the Amazons aren't the real enemy, the Bana are! Isn't that sweet? They still think this comic can be salvaged. By the way, we never get an explanation for how the hell Diana knows it's the Bana and not just some random terrorist group, but whatever, I just don't care anymore. Oracle calls again and informs them that she's figured out that Gotham is the next target of the Bana. I have to go. I'm getting out of this comic while I still can. It's only gonna get worse from here, guys. Back to Air Force One, the plane is suddenly under attack by a legion of Amazons riding flying horses. So, not only did they fail to get the president away from Washington, D.C., a group of flying horses can keep up with a 747. And once again, a spear with what looks like a stone head manages to break through the glass and kill the pilot. The trigger-happy escort jets, who 2 minutes ago were more than happy to shoot missiles close to Air Force One, suddenly think it's too close to shoot at the flying horses. Okay, folks, this is my robot, Poyo. He's gonna finish the review for me, because really, I can't take this anymore.
Alright. So then Wonder Woman movingly flatly killing a lectopatty whacked in a dog.
Ah, son of a... Even robots can't handle this thing! Wonder Girl on board Air Force One is shocked. Shocked, mind you, that this is happening. No, this wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, folks, I want to take a poll from you all. What is the absolute stupidest plan we've seen so far in my reviews? Is it A. Make twin clones of Hitler? B. The convoluted, nonsensical plan of the Church of Humanity to make Nightcrawler the Pope? Or C. Wonder Girl and Supergirl kidnap the President of the United States to negotiate peace with the bloodthirsty, crazy Queen of the Amazons? And I know I keep stressing this, but for the love of all things sacred, what the hell are we spending the military budget on if Air Force One is taken down by spears and arrows? Of course, under this awesome onslaught of weapons, Air Force One crashes. Crap in heaven, how much longer is this? Back to Washington, D.C. again. Grace Choi is beating the snot out of the Amazons when suddenly the leader of the Bana appears. Grace asks them what she wants and she replies, "Want? Why, for you to join us, of course." So Grace kicks her in the face! Hey, I've got someone to root for who isn't an idiot! Let me just skip ahead real quick to see what happens and... Oh. She joins them next issue. Never mind, false alarm. On that same note, we also get to see the other Bana, and they're all wearing Warpoint and what can only be described as battle bikinis. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me! What, the Amazons, the purportedly primitive people, get full body armor, but the real evil, not the bloodthirsty, child-killing Amazons, mind you, but the evil Bana, is decked out in bikinis. It's as if somebody along the way in the creative process said, "Wait a second, we have a comic featuring lots of women fighting, but they're all wearing stuff that covers their skin? Well, we can't have that! How are we supposed to titillate the heterosexual male readers with that?" Moving on yet again, we have Red Arrow fighting... You know what? It's pointless and I don't care. Next scene! The two teenage twits who wanted to kidnap the president now are trying to defend his injured, unconscious body from the swarms of Amazons. Supergirl is completely ineffectual, while Wonder Girl, despite being a demigod, can't hold off the attacking Amazons. But then Superman arrives. Alright, now we've got a Martian in the action! He'll put those uppity women in their place! Superman, apparently being the sole voice of reason in the entire comic, lectures the Amazons about how this whole thing doesn't make sense and the Amazons he knows are better than this. This would be a sweet scene, except it's coming from Superman! Who the hell is Superman to the Amazons? Why isn't Wonder Woman giving a speech? Why is he the only one who's able to get through to them? Is it really because he's a man? By that logic, I could get through to them. Because I am a man! Bear! But here, alone in this Wisconsin forest... Wait, what? Wisconsin? They're in Wisconsin? How the hell did they get all the way? Oh, my head hurts. From out of nowhere, a contingent of soldiers arrives and guns down the Amazons that Superman had talked down. When Superman confronts them, the leader just says they're at war and the president's life was in danger and that the heroes should go back to Washington, which they do without a second thought. Of course. Back at the Smithsonian, Artemis and Philippus still haven't just killed Hippolyta and ended the whole shebang. Instead, one of the flying horses that had gone on the mission to kill the president returns, alerting them of their failure. However, before they can contemplate this much further, a mystical bubble suddenly encompasses central DC, cutting off any hope of entry. And so our comic ends with Hippolyta seeing this as a sign of the gods favoring them in victory, but all is not well because Circe has returned! She's supposed to be dead. She's not. It's just so shocking! I mean, I know we read that she got stabbed in a tie-in book and that she vanished afterwards, but it's still so shocking to see that she's still alive! This comic is awful, and we're still not done with it! 2 more to go, folks. 2 more to go before I go completely insane. Oh.